How's it going there?
Just getting ready.
My physical resources, I need whatever equipment you have. Using equipment first.
Righty, Tim. Welcome.
Morning, Craig. How you going?
Fantastic. So everyone who's joining in, this is Tim Allsop, who's our director of the WILD GEESE Academy, part of the University of Applied Research and Development, taking us on a sneak tour of what's happening at the WILD GEESE Academy. Tell us what's happening, Tim.
Yeah, so at the moment we're doing some training for EXXON Mobil offshore. We're teaching the designated person in charge who work on satellite platforms here in Malaysia what they need to know in incident command to take care of an emergency that might take place on an unmanned satellite, reporting back to a mother platform. So WILD GEESE senior instructor Jude is in there now taking care of that. I'll just go somewhere a little bit quieter so I don't disrupt them into one of our digital rooms where we do the remote training from.
And so the people who are from EXXON there, they may be faced with a life-threatening incident that they then have to manage. And so the skills they're learning are really world-class, aren't they?
They are. And what happens is not every offshore platform is manned 24/7 by people. They'll have a mother platform where they have the habitat where people live and the production wells. But every day a boat will ferry them out to a remote location. It could be one mile away, it could be 20 miles away. So there'll be a small group of 6, 4, 8, 10, 12 people, depending on the scope of work. And they'll spend all day out there. They'll eat out there and they'll do their maintenance. And then they'll come back at night time to sleep. And another group will go out the next day. What we're teaching them now is if there's an emergency that happens out there where they are remote, like a little island, how to take care of themselves. By following the standards and at the same time reporting back to the mother platform, which is connected to the satellite platform through subsea pipe work and engineering and things like this. So this isn't a permanent job. They could be scaffolders, they could be painters, they could be mechanics, they could be electricians. They're going out there to do work, but when they go to the satellite platform as part of a small field development team, they have to wear a second hat, and that second hat is emergency response managers. So that's what we're teaching them today, is how to do that job to protect their life, to protect the asset, to make sure no one gets injured, and the environment and things like this.
I've heard that oil rigs, particularly those that are offshore, are only equaled in complexity to NASA's space shuttle, rockets, those sorts of things. The level of complexity that people have, would that be right?
Yeah, I don't know if the astronauts would see it that way, but definitely there's a lot of similarities in the fact that you are very remote. You're left to your own devices to try and make things work, make things happen. The technology that's in place on a lot of these modern platforms is very much at the forefront of engineering. But even the old technology, the challenge there is to keep that old technology online as we integrate new technology into their systems. I thought when I was a saturation diver, I'd seen it all, working underwater, but working offshore is definitely a very potentially hostile, challenging environment, and takes a very unique individual to do it well, because they have to be able to multitask, work as part of a team, and then be the team themselves, by themselves at times. So it's something we take for granted if you've been doing it for a long time, but it can be very daunting to people who've never been out there. Yeah, it would be like being lost in space to a lot of people, yes.
Tim, it's really great that we can spend some time with you. Your role is very, very busy. So the purpose of getting you on today is to talk about and highlight the acceptance that we have of all of the OPITO certificates, the OIM, MEMIR, PMIC CRO certificates, as part of our university and WILD GEESE Academy level 4 diplomas. So I'd love to run through some questions with you just to let everyone know how unique and significant this is. Do you have time for this now?
I do, not a problem.
Fantastic. So look, how's the recognition and these recognitions that we've got of the past courses that people may have done, how does that work towards and work with the level 4 diploma?
Okay, look, just a bit of a background. I've done 24 years in the oil and gas industry, and I'm now in the academic side with the Academy. That's my new portfolio, and this will be the last portfolio I do, I think. But what I wanted to try and help set up was, or establish, was the recognition, acceptance of past courses that students, delegates, individuals had done, and align that to something they can work on for future employment, future benefits, future gains, things like this. So the recognition of prior learning, past courses, that's what the Academy does in collaboration with UARD, is we'll accept identifiable courses that the person has attended and map that in to their advancement through the diploma pathway and on to degree. I don't know if there's a lot of academic institutions doing it this way or doing it as well as we're doing it in the fields of emergency response, risk management. Remembering that's our niche market. We're not trying to do everything. We're doing something we believe we have a lot of core competency and a lot of core knowledge in understanding.
And I think that's a real special thing, the advantage the Wild Geese Academy has. We've got experts in the field with a long industry experience from a range of different discipline background. This is what they do, and they do it at a world-class level. So who would be the prime candidates who would take hold of this offer then, Tim, getting these certificates recognised?
So sorry, repeat that question again, Craig?
Who would be the prime candidates to take advantage of this offer of including these certificates?
Well, at the moment, it's anyone that's currently working offshore was our first vehicle that we launched, but we're now trying to bring one online every 6 weeks. Next month we'll have exactly the same program, but majoring in maritime. So anyone that's currently serving in middle management through to senior management roles in their specific industries, such as maritime. Very soon we're going to have construction. We're going to have aviation come online, but they're all in the competencies of emergency response risk management. So right now we're putting people through that come from the oil and gas industry, both offshore and onshore. And by onshore, I mean refineries, chemical plants and things like this, anything that involves hydrocarbon management and the risks associated with that. So oil and gas is who we've been focusing on now for the last 90 days, the last 3 months, because it was primarily set up for that industry. However, we've now seen a demand and definitely an interest in going into similar industries such as aviation, maritime, construction, mining, policing, even policing and firefighting and rescue are two that we're looking at bringing online before the end of the year. Yeah.
So I just want to name those certificates again, Tim. So there's the OPITO OIM, MEMIR, PMIC, and the CRO certificate. So is this only for the people that have completed these certificates through the Wild Geese Group?
Okay, no, but we're one of a handless industry that can offer OPITO accredited certificates in emergency management. So what we're doing is we're saying to anyone that approaches us through the Academy website, if you've done the OPITO OIM, MEMIR, Plant Manager, Incident Commander, Controller Operator through any of our colleague companies, our competitors, for want of a better word, we'll accept that. We'll accept that certificate as though you've done it through us, and we'll build on that to gather up enough RPO to identify the gap courses that need to be bridged, to work towards your Diploma 4, move on to your Advanced Diploma 5, and if you want to pursue a Masters, then we'll help you with that process too. We'll help you manage that process. But no, it's not just for people who've come to the Wild Geese School. It's for anyone that's got those OPITO courses. Or if you don't even have the OPITO courses, if you've got courses that we can validate that are equivalent in course syllabus and content and have achieved a successful outcome of that, we'll also accept that. For example, in the US, OPITO isn't as big as FEMA. So if you've got FEMA equivalent courses like the FEMA ICS 200 and 300, 400, we'll accept that as well. We will thatch that into the pathway. How you going there, Craig? You seem to have frozen a little bit. Let me
There we go.
move to another part of the office.
That's a good connection there.
This
We've got
is a
full
problem.
motion, video and
Office.
audio.
Maybe it's a little bit better reception here.
You've got such a big facility there, Tim. It's a wonderful platform and place for people to be learning emergency response.
Yeah, no, it is big, but it has its drawbacks at times with internet coverage and crossing from one zone into another zone. So I don't know if the listeners heard what I said earlier, but it's not just Wild Geese OPITO certificates that we're accepting. We're accepting any of our colleague companies that also issue the OPITO certification in emergency management, PMIC, OIM, MEMIR, and CRO. But also, if you haven't got the OPITO one, but you've got one that we can validate and confirm, such as from the US, FEMA, ICS 200, 300, 400, then we'll accept that also and attach that into your pathway to getting your Diploma 4. And ultimately, if you want to go on to your Masters, we'll accept all credible, real incident command certification from approval bodies. Yep.
Wonderful. So what are the main advantages or benefits then for someone want to advance through the Academy with the emergency response and risk management programs?
I think the main advantages is being able to keep up with the wants and needs of industries. We get a number of invitation to bids come across our desk, and I've noticed in the last 2 decades, they were very heavily focused on your track record, your experience in industry. Now they're just cutting straight to the chase and saying, hey, if you don't have a bachelor in this particular field, please don't apply. So I think what started our cause to want to do this was to try and catch all those that may have missed that ship that sailed, in that they're a little bit older and don't have the time to go to these academic institutions to get these qualifications that the young 25-year-olds are now rolling out of universities with. So we're trying to capture and cater for that market specifically. So the advantages is we'll help you get to that pathway.
Yeah, that's brilliant. So these courses that are OPITO or recognised, these certificates, obviously now it's quite a challenging time for people to be able to physically get in for training. So can those courses be delivered remotely?
That's a very good question. It's extremely challenging. I know here at our Centre of Excellence here in Kuala Lumpur, we've had very small numbers come through the door in the last 120 days. The remote option is something that we put together, and to the best of my knowledge, I believe Wild Geese is still the only OPITO accredited remote deliverer of the MEM courses, OIM, PMIC, MEMIR. That the younger generation, they're getting it, that they're understanding how all this works. You can see this morning through my own mismanagement of this live Zoom streaming, I'm coming to terms with it too as a mid-50-year-old. But I also think the mature industries are struggling with it slightly, unless you're in IT, of course. So the individuals themselves, they understand and appreciate the benefits and the gains, but the companies themselves are still struggling with it. They have this mindset of send people to schools, send people to schools. I see that changing before the end of the year. But the digital is definitely the way to go. It's commercially more attractive. It's easier. And for us, it's done in the workplace, which is where holistic training should be done in the workspace, because you get the holisticness of it and you get the bespoke of it, which is what we try and replicate when they come to our school. So we don't have to replicate it. They're already there. So there's the benefits far outweigh the disadvantages of doing it remotely. It connects people.
So there could be people who have done OIM, MEMIR, and maybe they haven't done the other one, PMIC. And so that opportunity to be able to do that remotely is fantastic. Whether they just need to pick up one of the certificates to get into the university pathway.
Well, that's it. And all they need to do is submit to us through the Academy website what ones they've got, and then we'll show them the ones they need. And the ones they need can be done remotely. That's exactly right. And we've engaged with industry there through the Wild Geese Industry Advisory Board. That's what they're there for, is to validate the held competency certificates. Yes. The process is relatively easy.
Is this just for oil and gas?
No, like I said, we're venturing into aviation, maritime, marine, construction, policing, fire and rescue. I would say we'd have maritime online next month. We'll have aviation and fire and rescue online the month after, and then we're going to go for policing and fire and rescue. So now we'll be looking at five more industry sectors online before the end of the year, but all in the fields of emergency response risk management, and all targeting that one or two age bracket group people who have been in their respective industries for a decade or so, and now chasing or looking to advance their personal qualifications in view of their job requiring it or another job requiring it.
Tim, I think as the director of the WILD GEESE Academy in partnership with the university, it's always good for people to know what's the rationale, what's the vision, the mission behind doing this. I'd love for you to share that with everyone.
Okay, well, leaving hands-on oil and gas after 24 years and focusing now purely on the academy, for me was the natural step. The rationale, the vision, I suppose, the vision is to formally, internationally acknowledge might be a better word, acknowledge a job that I've been doing for 2 decades and done well, but there's no bit of paper to say I could do it. So coming into the academic stream and being recognised for holding qualifications in emergency response risk management that aren't industry specific necessarily, that are accepted by a broader range of people, because it will be a bachelor's or it will be a master's, which shows time on task and academic qualification of the position. So that's the vision, is to create a vehicle, a pathway, a final destination for all those people that have been in emergency response and only got some certification for specific parts or bits and pieces, and not a blanket coverage qualification. It's been long overdue. It's been long overdue and not addressed properly by industries.
Well, look, I do want to thank you for what you're doing at the WILD GEESE Academy and driving that forward and providing these opportunities for people who have been working and gained an incredible number of skills and understandings and knowledge, and not had this opportunity to get formal recognition. So thank you for what you're doing. For those that want more information about the ERRM programs and WILD GEESE Academy in general, how should they pursue that?
Look, I think anyone watching this that is a current serving fireman or policeman or paramedic or ex-military, I strongly think you should take the time to go and have a look on the website, www.wggacademy.org, and have a look. I think you'll find a place there that you can slot yourself into and work towards getting that ultimate qualification recognition of past performance, the performances that you've achieved. This academy is tailor-made for people like that. That's what we are. That's the niche market we're doing. It's long overdue, and I think we're set up well enough to do it by the way we engage back with industry through our industry advisory board. It's an academic outcome in an unorthodox academic way, because we're appreciating the industries you're coming from, because the people in the academy are from those industries.
Director Tim Allsop, thank you so much for your time.
And anytime, Craig, I'm sorry that there's a lot of noise and a lot of stuff going on. We picked the one day of the week that we're actually busy.
Well, that's fantastic. I'm delighted that as our university has partnered directly with WILD GEESE Academy, more together to provide these opportunities. I'm delighted that you're leading it, and that we have such a wonderful facility there as well for everyone to either physically be there with or learn remotely well. So thanks so much.
Not a problem. I'll just go back now and apologise to the EXXON boys for interrupting their class.